Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is another week of daily palette challenge review, whatever I'm calling that. And I don't even know what week is this. Is this week 6 or 7? So this is going to be week 6. If you're not familiar with this yet, I am using a different palette every day, 6 days a week. And I'm posting my looks on Instagram along with the palette so you can see it in action. I do my makeup most days anyway, but this way I'm just changing it up and using all my different palettes so I can see if there's any I want to get rid of, what I want to keep. And yeah, so you're going to see new, old, and everything in between. This week we use the NYX Modern Dreamer palette, so something more affordable, colorful, lots of shades. I also use this ultra affordable one called M2U NYC. This is a newer brand and this is their BKB palette. I felt like it was just perfect for Valentine's Day. It's got the Brooklyn Bridge and little mice kissing. I also used the beautiful Natasha Denona Love Palette. That was the giveaway for last week. I'm gonna skip the giveaway for this week because I am in such a slump of like not getting things done at the right time and just like procrastinating. So I still need to pick all the winners for my 3 palettes that I've already given away. So I'm just gonna get my stuff squared away before I start any more giveaways. And then I also used the Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons palette. A throwback. I've had this one for a while. I think I got it Valentine's Day and it was probably 2014 or 15. It's been a while. I've had it for quite some time. Oh, I'm doing this out of order, but anyway, the Huda Beauty Pastels. It's amazing. I do that like once a video, just throw something on the ground. But this is the Rose Obsessions Pastel palette. And then also I use the Huda. I didn't realize I did 2 Huda palettes in 1 week. It didn't even dawn on me that I did that. But I also got the Rose Gold Remastered. So this came in my Ipsy X. I do have a video on my Ipsy X doing a more thorough try on of this. You are going to see some try on in this video of every palette. But if you want to see something a little bit more in depth with more like thoughts and opinions, then check out that video. So without further ado, I'm just gonna roll right into the footage. I have about a minute's footage of application for each palette, and I'll go through the steps, what colors I use, and all of that goodness. So let's take a look. Starting with NYX Cosmetics Modern Dreamer palette using P. Louise base shade 0.5. I'm gonna begin with a little peachy shade and just tuck that right in the front of my brow into the crease. And we're gonna add a mauve shade and blend those two together going towards the outer corner. I'm gonna add a deep blue into the outer corner. I'm gonna blend that into a little V shape, and this is just giving me like a little elongated look towards the edge of my brow, and I'm just gonna work on building up that shape. And yeah, more blue, adding a little bit of that purple to kind of blend the two together before I do a little bit of a cut crease using more P. Louise base. And over the P. Louise base, I'm going to pack on this kind of like peachy champagne shimmer that you'll see just to bring a little bit of light to the lid, and I think it turned out really pretty. Alright, y'all ignore me dancing for TikTok while I'm doing this. Just ignore me. So I'm using the matte shade Pizza Crust, really nice neutral brown, and then also using BKB, a dark brown in the outer corner, and then just doing a lot of blending into the outer corner and beyond, blending up and out, making this nice and smoky and kind of a sultry look. Really want to play up the red lip, so I just want it to be really blown out and pretty. P. Louise base on my lid to kind of cut the crease a little bit, and then I'm going to take this shimmer called Williamsburg, and it's just like a nice little like champagne golden, really pretty, keeping it really simple. And then in my lower lash line, going back into those first neutral shades that I use and blowing that out a little bit, and that's pretty much it. Alright, the beautiful Natasha Denona Love Palette using P. Louise base. You can pretty much guess at any time. It's my favorite. So blending in the shade Soul, which is this really pretty rosy shade, and gonna use that as a majority of my eyeshadow, so putting it everywhere throughout the crease, and then I'm gonna blend it up, and I'm gonna take a little bit of the shade Valentine, which is a really soft pink, and you will see me using that to kind of like blend out the edges and blow it out towards the brow, especially in the inner corner. really pretty pink, but this is a great palette for like monochromatic looks. And I'm also taking, this is the shade Trust in the outer corner. A lot of my looks this week are kind of the same. This is my go-to style of eyeshadow, like 3 or 4 colors gets it done. P. Louise base on the lid, of course. What else would I do? And then I'm gonna take the shade Giving, which is beautiful, sparkly, like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like peachy pink, mostly pink. Really pretty. Blending the darker purple and ColourPop liner in my waterline. Huda Beauty Rose Pastel Obsessions palette, taking this purpley pink, very soft lavender type of shade and blending that out above the crease, really just blowing that color out. Taking this a little bit darker purple, still in that like lavender family. The shades don't have names, so you guys can see what I'm using there. And keeping it really simple, I'm just gonna kind of darken the outer corner a little bit, but as you can see, it's a really soft transition. And then this sparkly light pinky purple is really pretty. The darker of the 2 purples, and then this little lime moment in the inner corner. Alright, Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons using some P. Louise base, surprise, surprise. And I'm going to be starting with the shade Almond Truffle. It's like a little pink mocha, and this is a really, really nice transition shade. I was surprised at how well this still blended out after all this time, and you can see me just blowing that shade out. I'm taking Malted, which is a little bit deeper brown, and just putting that in the outer corner like pretty much all my looks this week. Blending those together, P. Louise base on the eye, and then I mix satin sheets and sprinkles on the lid for this little pinky champagne moment, and then Totally Fetch in my lower lash line and Silver liner on the top. Finally, the Huda Beauty Rose Gold Remastered, starting with the shade Demure. Definitely shows up a little bit deeper on the eye than it does in the pan. And then I'm going to take the shade Maneater after I do a little blending and blend those 2 together. Maneater is going to take me out towards the outer corner. Add a little bit of that reddish, so this is like the perfect Valentine's Day vampy look. So blending those 2 and then adding Black Truffle, which is a really, really nice black, and focusing that in a very small area. And then I'm going to be taking a lot of Maneater around the edges and blending this out. As you can see, it's a really nice intense black, so I didn't want to go everywhere. I just wanted it to be focused in the outer corner, doing lots and lots of blending for that area, but I think it's really pretty how it turned out. So I'm going to blend all the edges, and of course, we're going to put some P. Louise base on the lid. You would expect nothing else from me. And for this clip, you're just going to see me adding the shade Rose Gold all over the lid, packing with my finger, and then also with a brush just to get the edges. So this was really pretty how it turned out, but for the final look, I added a little bit of Pink Diamond, which is a little bit more metallic looking, but still, either way, it was really pretty. Taking pretty much the same shades on the bottom to blend everything out and mirror the top, and mascara. I like the way it turned out. Alright, so of course you saw all the looks come together. So I don't know if it's just like that these color stories didn't speak to me as much, but this week I didn't have any looks that I was like, oh my god, I'm in love with this eyeshadow look so much. Like previous weeks I definitely have. Not to say that they weren't good, I definitely had some pretty looks, but I felt like everything was a bit softer. Some like Valentine's Day themes, so I did some neutrals, but I'm still going to rank them. This one's kind of tough because I have some pricier palettes in here, but I also have some really good affordable ones too. I'm just gonna say my Natasha Denona Love palette is gonna take the #1 spot just because I love the shadows. I love the way that they blend. I feel like the formulas and textures are very unique. Once again, you still have time if you want to enter to win this palette. It's in week 5 of my palette a day giveaway challenge daily thing. It will be linked below, but I have to put this #1 just because I not only love the color story, but I just love the formula so much. This one's tough, but I think I'm going to put my NYX at #2 simply because usually big pans like this, we know what brands we usually get them from. I feel like big palettes like this are usually a downer. There's just so much going on, but not only that, the formulas aren't usually that good. But with this one, I actually really enjoyed every look that I've created. I think I've used this palette 4 or 5 times, and it has so many options, so many colors. You can definitely do neutrals, but so many fun colors as well. And I feel like this formula is just really good. For the price, you get a ton of shadows, so I have to say that I really love that one. I'm gonna say that my Huda Rose Gold Remastered is gonna take the #3 spot. This palette is beautiful formula. It's really, really pretty. So all of these top 3 are I love them all. I mean, I just can't really say anything bad about any of them, but a really beautiful palette. This one has more of those like metallic, wet looking shadows. The older palette I think had a little bit more glitter. I need to take a look at that one and see if it's worth keeping both, but I'm probably just gonna stick with keeping this one. And then we have 3 other palettes. So I'm gonna put my Huda Beauty pastels as number 4. I had comments when I used this also in my BoxyCharm premium try-on, I think that's what it was, that the reason that this was performing bad was because my eyeshadow base, that was the one I was using from Alamar. I disagree entirely. The formula wasn't bad, it's just very soft. Like, these are very soft colors, especially like I went in with this one pretty heavily, as you saw, and it's just very soft. I mean, you're not gonna get like bold color from this, but you can look at this and tell it is super, super soft. Huda has other 9pan palettes that have similar tones that aren't quite as like soft and like gentle as this. I feel like this is pretty, it's just soft. And the shimmers are soft too. Like, there's nothing bold about this palette. So that's, just take that with a grain of salt. But I tried that primer another 2 times and I can say I hated it. One time I just played around with shadow. I didn't post a look or anything. Another time I did try to use it and I hated it. It's just more like a glitter glue in my opinion. So, I mean, I'll still use it for that purpose, but still, like, I prefer my NYX or my Too Faced glitter glue over that one. So it's probably just gonna get like kind of used and then tossed, you know what I mean? So surprisingly, this little M2U NYC, when I first saw this, I was like, oh, okay, it's 6 little neutrals, but the eye look turned out really pretty, and I feel like for the average neutral lover, I think this is great. When I look at this, even in pictures too, I'm like, wow, it actually turned out really pretty. This is everything that you need. I think it was $12. This palette's really cute. I couldn't complain about it, and I think it performed better than my Too Faced chocolate bonbons. And not that this palette is bad. When I went to use this, I was like, oh, you know, this palette is pretty good. I don't know why I never grabbed these older Too Faced palettes. At one point I was like a Too Faced collector and I had way too much of it. This is a pretty neutral palette, a couple colors, but I think what it is just Too Faced continually does like very similar stuff. Even their new stuff that they put out, it's browns and pinks, maybe a purple, maybe something a little teal or blue, but mostly pinks, purples, browns. Like, nothing really ever varies, and occasionally when they do something a little bit different, it's still not that different, you know? So I think that's just what it is. This palette is not bad by any means, but it is kind of like on the chopping block. So I need to just think about getting rid of this guy. So let me know, would you keep this? I always want to know your guys' thoughts because I'm just like so curious if we're thinking the same way or not. So that is it for the palettes. I'm definitely, it was kind of a meh week, but you can see this week that I'm filming currently, I'm doing more colorful stuff. It's more, I don't know, when I do more colorful looks, I feel happier in my makeup and it's just a more pleasant experience. When I do neutral, I just feel like, oh, it's pretty. But at any rate, thank you guys so much for hanging with me and checking out this video. Let me know, are you still enjoying this format of like a little bit longer in terms of the tutorial portion with the voiceover? Let me know what you think. I feel like it worked a little bit better last time, but if you guys have requests of anything you'd like to see, let me know. Thank you guys again, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.